Welcome back, guys. So today we are going to look at a question related to CrashLoopBackOff. This is an error that you will see almost every other day when you're working on Kubernetes due to any configuration issue. So I have a BusyBox YAML over here. This is called utility worker. It has one container named worker, and it is running the latest BusyBox image with memory and CPU. So if I apply this now, the pod would be created, and if I do a kget pods, you will see that it is doing a container creating. It has completed, but it is going into an error. So if I cancel this, and so you'll see it has completed again, but you can see there are two restarts and they are like 24 seconds ago. And why is this happening? So let me go back to kget pods, and you can see it went back to CrashLoopBackOff. And whenever you see this issue, it's a crash loop. The main word is loop. It is looping through errors, and which is why it would never be in a stable state. And the way you can troubleshoot this is do a logs. So if I do a logs on utility worker, let me remove this, you will see nothing. And the reason you're not seeing anything is for the logs to appear, the container must be running. And if the container is not running, if it is in CrashLoopBackOff, you would always get no logs because the container is not throwing any logs for you to look at. So in the last video, we learned about events. If I describe this pod, and since I have only one pod, I don't have to name it. It will just show that pod. So I have utility worker. And here, what are we seeing? We are seeing that it has assigned it to a node. It has pulled the BusyBox image. And then it is successfully starting the worker container. And then it is going into a CrashLoopBackOff. Now, what can we do in this scenario? We don't have the logs. The events are not showing what is wrong. If I do a kget event, you will not see anything over here. What is the error? So kget pods, it is still in the CrashLoopBackOff. If you try to Google, you'll get a lot of results, but I'll just tell you what the issue is over here. One of the things with an image like BusyBox is it creates a container, but when you create a container, you want the container to do something. When you have an HTTPD pod or you have an Nginx pod, they are attached to a service. So the service creates a accessible link to the pod, and the pod has the HTTPD or Nginx daemon, which is keeping the pod up so it can listen to any requests coming through the service. In this case, we have a standalone pod which has no service attached to it. So what Kubernetes is doing is it is pulling the BusyBox image for the worker container. And if we do a kget pods again and we watch it, what it is doing is it is pulling the image. It is running the container. The container goes into a completed state. But what did it complete? It didn't complete anything because we don't have any command for this container to run. When we don't have any command for the container, it will come up and it will exit. It will exit right away because it doesn't know what to do because we haven't told what the container should be doing. And this is the problem with utility or base images. Some of them are like, if I cancel this, if you use anything like BusyBox, Alpine, or Ubuntu images, then these are called as or base images. These ones need some kind of command to keep running, and we haven't specified that. So that is what we are going to do over here now. In the image, after the image, I'll go into the insert mode and I'll write command and we'll give it a sleep command. So we'll do a sleep and then -c, actually bin sh -c, and then we'll give the sleep command and we'll sleep it for 3600, which is like an hour. And once we give a command for this BusyBox to run, as soon as it comes up, that is going to keep the pod up and running. So if I apply the file now, it is going to give an error because it is saying that we cannot add any new command to an existing pod that is already running. The only thing that we can change is the container image or the active deadline seconds or tolerations or termination grace period seconds. These are the only values that you can change in a pod that is already running. So to fix this, we'll delete the BusyBox pod and then we'll apply it again. Now the new pod will come up with our command. Actually, what is the error now? So k describe pod, and let's see, BusyBox, k get pods, CrashLoopBackOff, k. Let's see if it took the command. It's easier to look at in the YAML format. So we have bin sh minus c. Oh, so sleep 3600 is wrong. I don't really practice anything before starting the video, so I will run into issues like this. But again, I cannot apply this again because the pod is running. So we'll have to delete the pod and then we'll apply it again. And now if I do a kget pods, you can see that it is running and it has not exited yet. And if I do a kget pods, it is still running. So I can exec into it, kexec minus it, utility worker. There's only one container, so we don't need to specify the container, or you can say minus c container to go into that worker. Okay, once we put the exec, we need to tell what it should do. So we should go into minus minus bin sh, and it will take us into the pod container. And if I do a host name, you'll see the utility worker. That is all for this video, guys. You can see the sleep is running inside the container, which is why we are able to get into the container. When we put it in the, let me exit. When we put it in the commands, it starts this in the background, which allows us to exec into the pod and run whatever command we want to run. But that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.